I couldn't believe it when my daughter caused the chaos that she did. It started with a simple request. She wanted to visit her grandparents. I thought she meant my parents, but no, she meant them, my wife's parents. That was when everything fell apart. You see, my wife's parents are the kind of people you keep your children away from. They abused her for years, from when she was a little girl, through her teens. Every day was a struggle, filled with humiliation and fear. I've seen the scars it left on her, physically and emotionally, and she's still battling the trauma. I wasn't going to let my daughter just waltz into that toxic environment. My wife, who has PTSD and sees a therapist regularly, wasn't going to let that happen either. We were united in our decision, no contact with them. Simple as that. But my daughter didn't see it that way. She was furious. She said we were overreacting, that she deserved to meet all her grandparents. She called us selfish. I couldn't stand it. She didn't understand the history, the pain. She thought we were being dramatic, just blocking her from something she wanted. I was so angry. How could she not see it? After I sent her to her room, I talked to my wife. I was so torn. I wanted to tell my daughter the truth, make her understand why we said no. But my wife was reluctant, didn't want to be triggered, didn't want to relive that nightmare. Eventually, she agreed, as long as she wasn't involved in the conversation. So the next day, I went to my daughter's room, heart heavy, and tried to explain. I told her the truth. I told her that her grandparents were abusive, that her mom had been terrorized by them since she was 6. I said that her mom nearly died on Thanksgiving Day because of her stepfather. I told her that the scars they left would never heal, that we would never have a relationship with them. I hoped that would make her understand. But did it? Apparently not. A week later, on my wife's birthday, everything exploded. My wife, who doesn't like to celebrate but does it for us, had a peaceful day planned. The house was full, her sister, our other kids, my entire family. We were enjoying the moment until a knock at the door. It was my daughter, running in to say it was a friend. But it wasn't. It was my in-laws. I couldn't believe it. They walked in like they owned the place, like they had the right to be there. My wife froze, her sister too, as they strolled into our living room, all smiles, pretending nothing was wrong. When my wife finally managed to speak, she asked, "What are you doing here?" They just shrugged, as if it was perfectly normal. They said, "Our granddaughter invited us." That was the breaking point. My wife asked them to leave, but they refused. They pushed back. I stood between them, told them to leave, they were not welcome here. But then, my daughter, the one I had tried so hard to protect, stood up for them. She argued that we had exaggerated the situation, that they were good parents. And then my father-in-law dropped the bomb. He said, "Whatever we did to you ungrateful kids, you deserved." I saw red. I snapped. The last thing my wife needed, the last thing we needed, was to hear that. She screamed for them to leave, and in the chaos, my father-in-law pushed her into the wall. Her head hit the wall hard, too hard. The sound still haunts me. I had to rush her to the hospital, and by the time we managed to get them out of the house, my wife was broken. Not just physically, emotionally, too. She didn't say anything the rest of the night. She just went to our room, silently thanking my mother for the ride to the hospital. Then came the aftermath. My daughter. She still didn't get it. When I confronted her, I lost it. I told her how selfish she was, how her actions had endangered everyone, especially her mother. I couldn't believe she still didn't understand the gravity of what she had done. She broke down in tears, saying she genuinely thought I was exaggerating, that it would be good for the family to reunite. I couldn't fathom how she could have been so naive, so blind to the damage those people had done. I told her that parents are supposed to protect their kids. That was my job, and I had shielded her from that evil. But she didn't see it. Not until now. I told her that sorry didn't cut it. Her actions were reckless and dangerous. My wife, exhausted from the emotional toll, told her daughter the truth, that she no longer trusted her. The consequences were clear. No more phone. No more friends. She needed to earn back our trust before any of that could come back. My wife wasn't okay. None of us were. I thought about it for days, whether I had been too lenient, whether I should have been harder on my daughter. But I was just trying to protect my family, just like I always had. And there's more. We made a report. We're pressing charges. We're getting a restraining order. My daughter had reached out to them, kept pursuing them even after I'd explained the horrors of her mom's childhood. She knew the truth. But she still chose them. She chose to bring that poison back into our lives. We'll do whatever it takes to make sure they stay away. And that's where we are. A broken family, trying to pick up the pieces, trying to figure out how to heal. How do you move forward when your own daughter betrays you? When the people you're trying to protect your children from come crashing back into your life? I don't know the answer. But I'll fight for my family, no matter what. I've been holding on to this for so long, and finally, after everything that's happened, I can't stay silent anymore. I'll never speak to my mother or sister again. Ever. I am 17, and I've been forced to grow up way too fast. My dad, he was amazing growing up. Until everything shattered, until my mom decided to throw it all away. Cheating. The affair. And then my sister, the product of that betrayal, came into the world. I was only 7 when the bombshell dropped. What happened next? My mom, somehow, managed to get full custody. How? My dad never says anything bad about her, he's too good for that. But I know he's been hurt, and I can see the pain. All he says is, we'll work with it. Wait till you turn 18. Until then, I see him once a week, and every summer I get 1 week to be with him. The rest of the time? I'm stuck. Stuck with my mom. With my sister, who's profoundly disabled. But it's not the disability that burdens me, it's the weight of her existence. My sister needs assistance with everything, and that's where I come in. Every moment I should have been living for myself, I've spent taking care of her. I've sacrificed my dreams, my friends, my happiness. No basketball, no piano, no fun. I've worn the same clothes at home for 3 years because my sister's needs always come first. Even dinner? She eats before anyone else. It's like I don't exist in my own house. Do you know what it feels like to have no life of your own? My dad used to pay child support, more than required, but guess what? Most of it went to my sister. And when he tried to fight it, when he tried to say, this isn't right, it was like no one cared. He's paying the minimum now, and still, most of it goes to her. You might think I'm heartless, but I've had enough. My life has value, too. My mom doesn't see it. She doesn't care about me, not really. She's too busy with my sister. And now, after all this time, I've found a way out. A way to finally breathe. I've been lying. I told my mom I needed extra hours at school to prepare for college. She didn't care enough to check. So, instead of staying at school, I've been sneaking off to my best friend's house, where I can breathe. And when I need stuff for school, I go to my dad's best friend's house. His family, they care, they've been more of a family to me than my own. My dad's friend has even bought me a small electric piano. You know what that means to me? It means I'll play again. I'll live again. And guess what else? My dad's helping me find a college near his place. One where I can finally be free. Where I can live without my sister's shadow looming over me. My mom has no idea about any of this. She thinks I'll stay near home, keep taking care of my sister. But I won't. I'll be free. In 2 weeks, I'll be living at my dad's friend's house. And after school, I'll go to college near my dad's place. I don't care if you think I'm selfish. I'm doing this for me, for the first time in my life. I've been trapped in a nightmare for years. I'm finally waking up. When I turn 18, my dad's not going to have to support a child that isn't his anymore. And when my mom and sister are left to fend for themselves, I won't be there. It's not my problem anymore. I don't care if they suffer. They never cared about me, not really. They've only used me. They've ruined my childhood. And I hate them for it. I don't hate my sister for what she is, but I hate what she represents in my life, a constant burden. I hate my mom more. She's the one who decided all of this. She's the one who ruined everything. But now, I'm escaping. I'm going to live my life. I'll finally have the freedom I deserve. My dad is there for me. He's always been there. He doesn't just show up when it's convenient, he actually cares. When I'm sick at school, he'll drive an hour to pick me up. When my mom couldn't even be bothered, he was there. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize. I don't care what people think of me. I've had enough. I'm going to college. I'm going to be free. My dad has even arranged therapy for me. He's making sure I can heal, that I'm ready to live my life. And when I go on that trip with him, just the two of us, I'll finally feel like I'm being taken care of. I'll feel like I matter. I will never speak to my mom or sister again. I will never go back to that life. And in 14 days, I'll be free. I've waited long enough.